Hello again, everybody. CJ here, your local friendly technology addict, and you're watching the Tech Addict's Attic. So I've got a buddy who's got a car that the doors keep opening on, and he complained to me one day at work that he goes into a restaurant, and he'll come back out and his doors are wide open. And what's basically happening is they've got one of those key fobs where you can remotely open everything, and when they're putting it in their pocket, doors open, and they're not paying attention. They're with their family. They're going inside to a restaurant. They don't really think about it. And then they come out, or maybe somebody comes to their table. Hey, do you own, this car with this license plate? Yeah, your doors are wide open. Oh, okay. We know what the problem is. We'll take care of it, right? So I told him, it's probably a simple fix. Let me take a look at it, and he did. So I've got his car and his key fob, and I open it up, and then I realized, you know what? This would be a good thing to take a video of. So here we are. I've already cracked it open. Unfortunately, I didn't think about it until too late. But basically, all you need is a knife. Get it up in that little seam there, and then just pry it apart. Just be real careful with a knife. You will wind up opening your palm if you're not careful. And it comes apart into two pieces. Okay? Obviously, your battery over here and your buttons over here. The buttons have, on the back of them, the circuit panel, the circuit board. All of this just pushes right out of the fob. Okay, so you got a little housing there. Then you got the meat of your device. Everything is right here. This is it. This is your transmitter. Alright, so we'll pull this apart, and what you will find, half the time, the buttons will be in the rubber part, because there's a little dab of adhesive, much like what they mail credit cards to you with. The glue that they stick the card onto the paper. They use basically the same thing to hold the buttons on the inside of the fob, but they don't always stick. And what happens, you can see right here, it's already happened, is you'll wind up with the buttons sliding. Now these buttons will make contact with both the inner and the outer terminal of the switch. That is actually an electronic switch, and that's what opens your doors when you're putting your key fob in your pocket. Now these buttons are just a little piece of concave disc, so normally when they're centered on it, the only part of it that's actually touching the circuit board is the outer edge, the circumference, the perimeter. But when you push down on them, they make that bump cave in, and that's what gives you that tactile button press feeling that we all know and love. And that also allows the center of the disc to contact the center terminal of the switch. So because that glue has basically lost its adhesion, on this particular fob the discs are sliding around on their own. If I can get the thing off, it's funny because I say they've lost their adhesion, but they've clearly still got something on them, just not enough to keep them in place. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do a little bit of a hack. I'm going to use some clear packing tape. And it doesn't have to be clear packing tape. I mean, you could probably make do with masking tape, electrical tape, regular Scotch tape would work. The idea is just to hold the discs as perfectly centered on the switch terminals as you can get them. Because the meat of the contact is underneath it, so you don't have to worry about the tape messing anything up, right? You just got to make sure that you get it as centered as possible. I didn't realize that I wasn't actually on the camera while I was sitting there centering all of these, so I apologize for that. We see we've got one that's stayed stuck in there, and you can see that ring of adhesive around the button, and none of the other buttons have that adhesive. So that's what's basically happened here, is the adhesive has simply gone away. Mostly, anyway. Just barely not wide enough. So I've got a couple of options with this. I think I'll just peel enough tape off. I mean, this stuff's cheap. I don't need to worry about wasting it. Yeah, it's cheap. Stuck brand. Made in the USA. If I can, there we go. And just like a lot of tapes, it winds up peeling, breaking right there, and you wind up with two pieces. Okay. Now all of the discs are centered. And that should be all there is to it. And then it's just a matter of trimming the tape. I'll tell you what, let's do it this way. We'll get it closer to the, there we go. And of course you don't want to cut into the circuit board itself. I'm simply using the edge of the circuit board like I would a pair of scissors, where the two blades make contact. That's all there is to it. And the idea here is merely to keep the discs from moving around. And you don't have to worry about it messing anything up, because like I said, the contacts are actually between the discs and the circuit board. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this apart, or get this trimmed off, I mean, and put it back together. And then we're going to test it out. But I'm confident this is going to work. And this is a very simple, very easy fix. And if you've ever had this problem, you've probably gone to the dealer and said, well, hey, you know, can I get a replacement key fob? And they're like, well, those are going to be $300. Probably $350 by now. They always find some way of writing up your costs. And it's funny because there's really nothing to this. You can get the fob itself for about 20 bucks on Amazon. The problem is the programming and pairing it to your car. It's much like a Bluetooth with your phone. You got to pair it to the device. But there you have it. Nothing to it. So I'll leave in the description whether or not it worked. Of course, I'm confident that it will have. And it's just a matter of putting everything back together. Got to be careful when you fit it all in. You'll wind up with your rubber trying to wedge its way out, and it's just all in how you align everything. Alright, so we're good. One of the buttons was a little harder to press. Had to be a little careful with it and pay attention to what I was doing, but they all work, they all open the doors that they're supposed to, and they don't when they're not supposed to. So, as you see, it's a quick, easy fix for a $300 piece of cheap tech. So that's all for today. I'm CJ, your local friendly technology addict. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.